What's up, guys? Nostalgic Row here, back with another movie review, and today we're going to be talking about Ninja Turtles 2, Out of the Shadows. I just got out of the theaters for this movie, and I'm going to try doing this as spoiler free as possible, as always with my reviews. I don't want to give away too much when it comes to the newer movies, but let's backtrack a little bit. So I originally really was encouraged by what I saw from the first film. I can acknowledge that it's not perfect by any means, but I thought it was a good stepping stone in that they didn't ruin the Ninja Turtles. Yes, they had some misfires for sure, but as a whole, it did what it needed to do to at least establish the franchise. So this movie, I had a lot of hope for. I was really wanting this to just be a fantastic movie. I guess maybe fantastic is too strong of a word, but I wanted it to at least be a solid Ninja Turtles movie, one that we could look at and just be like, yeah, they hit it right there. That's what we're talking about. That's the Ninja Turtles, and instead, it just kind of does not a whole lot. Let's start from the beginning. The first half hour, 45 minutes is pretty solid of a movie, setting everything up, setting up the fact that the Shredder has escaped, Baxter Stockman's helping him, and introducing Krang and how he's going to play in this world, and then also getting to Bebop and Rocksteady with their characters, and Casey Jones as well. It does a lot in the first like 45 minutes to try getting the things going, and that's great. A lot of that is pretty solid. Some of it's kind of I'm not a big fan of Casey Jones. His backstory and how he kind of gets into that's kind of rough. But as a whole, it works. And then it just kind of falls apart from there. Yeah, trying not to give too much away again. Still, just Bebop and Rocksteady. I thought they were too cartoony. Let's put it that way. They constantly joke, slapstick stuff like that, and for me, it just didn't work as well. Like obviously in the cartoons, they're kind of these dumb characters and stuff like that, and they're the comedic relief, and that's what they were in this movie too. But it was targeted more towards little kids. This is a PG-13 movie, keep in mind, so it's supposed to be more. It's supposed to be that fine balance of like adult but not, and instead it just went straight up kiddie. So I wasn't a big fan of them, and really Rocksteady, Seamus had nothing really to work with the character. It was all Bebop. I'm gonna keep drinking my big drink I got there, but it was mainly all just Bebop cracking lame jokes and yeah, and doing fart jokes and stuff, and it was just kind of like, really, okay, I guess that works. And they just felt out of place for this realm too, which you got used to it, but they just felt out of place. And then kind of how their whole arc goes, it fills the role, it does what it needs to do, but it felt out of place. In regards to the Shredder, really disappointed, especially when they recasted him and stuff like that. I really thought that, okay, he's going to have a bigger role, he's going to do more things, and he wasn't in the movie a whole lot either. And how he gets dispensed at towards the end there, again, like it was just kind of like, okay, like that. So okay, he's not really a threat. Karai, again, same thing. Like the bad guys in this movie aren't really in it a whole lot, and none of them seem to be a threat. It's kind of like, in a lot of ways, the second Avengers movie. Ultron, you never really felt like was a huge threat the entire time, and that's how all the characters feel in this movie. Is it feels like a lot of setup. And I was disappointed that our main baddie from the first movie, Eric Sachs, isn't in this movie. I had saw it not too long ago, but maybe I missed something. But he was casted in the movie as far as I know, but he wasn't in it, and so that's fine. I guess they're just getting rid of like that mistake, if you want to call it that. Personally, I kind of like the idea of Sax, and I wish that they didn't do the rewrites to not make him Shredder. But that's it is what it is. So the bad guys in this movie just never present a threat. The big fight at the end of the movie is pretty big letdown. It's not like the Shredder fight was way better than this one with Krang. That's a pretty big letdown. In terms of the other characters, going back, Casey Jones, I was talking about, I didn't really care for him. I mean, Stephen Amell does okay in the role. He's not. He's just kind of this weird guy of like he's a police officer and just but he's kind of crazy. Like they kind of tried combining a few elements of him and it didn't really work that well for me either. Megan Fox is fine as April. She's a little bit more involved with what the turtles are doing, but doesn't have a whole lot to do. Um, uh, Vern's character, Will Arnett, he was actually kind of funny, and like I didn't know what he was going to be doing, and so that role worked for him. Um, Being that comedic relief and how they kind of answer what he's been doing this past year or so, whatever, with the turtles, worked out. I was disappointed we didn't have more Splinter. Splinter was pretty absent in this movie too, and then the turtles themselves, they were okay. Like there wasn't. They tried to kind of challenge them like as far as being teammates in this one, and the drama just wasn't there. Like it was definitely more of a forced thing that they had going on. So, and I think that's kind of the best way to explain the movie as a whole is that a lot of forced elements that really aren't important to the whole. And just everything was kind of like, oh, now we're here, now we're here, now we're here, now we're here. So, but that being said, it was fun though. Like the action sequences were pretty fun. Um, as far as like they kept the pace going, so you didn't get too bored or they didn't go into too much backstory on things. But this one, in some ways, it succeeded in the fact that it felt like a cartoon, like that you're watching from the 80s. It did have that vibe to it. But it failed on other levels just because it didn't have that much heart to it. Um, and there's definitely ideas and storylines that could have been fleshed out a lot better that wasn't. And I do have to say, when they mentioned that they brought in Brad Garrett for the voice of Krang, I kind of cringed at that thought, and I was right to cringe. His voice, like again, like it's just another like aspect that's like, it's okay. It's not great. It doesn't completely suck, but it was just like, Brad Garrett. Okay, we've heard his voice enough, and how many other things. Not that I have anything against him. It's just that he's got like that type of voice. I was picturing, oh great, you're gonna do this with Krang, and that's exactly what they did. Um, so yeah, as a whole, this movie is just a big okay. A lot of stuff that they could have potentially did, they didn't do. So yeah, I mean, what are we gonna do with that? I mean, I think this movie is gonna make more money than the first. At least I hope so, so we can keep having Turtles movies. Because if this one doesn't make as much, I could see them just saying, well, you know what, we tried. People don't care about the turtles. We're not going to do it anymore. That's totally viable. They totally could do that, and we don't have any more. But I think because of the elements in this movie, because of the Bebop and Rocksteady, because of the Technodrome and Krang, people are going to go see this movie, and a lot of people are going to be pretty happy with it. Admittedly, I'm a little more pickier when it comes to the turtles, but as a whole, like I said, this movie is just okay, and that pains me to say that it's just okay because I did want this to be more. Um, there's no end credits. You don't have to worry about anything like that. There is no like future setup really with it. It's what's going to happen with Krang and Shredder and stuff. We don't know, and the third movie might have nothing to do with them. The way that things are written out is that if the franchise stopped, this is a stopping point. So I don't know. I really hope that moving forward they get away from the uh, just the kind of iffy bad guys. Like the next one, it needs to have something that is just like whole. Otherwise, these movies are gonna just kind of fade away again. So I don't know what that could be. I mean, you certainly have like the Fugitoid stuff you could be going towards. There's a lot of material they could be using, and Krang and Shredder don't have to have anything to do with it. But you know, we'll see. We'll see what they go with. They go with the franchise. So yeah, I guess if you're gonna go see this movie, you're gonna go see it. But if you're leaning on the fence of like, well, do I want to go see this or not? I think I think you're better off waiting until it gets to DVD, unless if you get like a free pass or something like that. To be completely honest, it's just it's an okay time at the theaters. But like I said, I do think it's going to make more money than the first, just because of everything that's going into it. Um, I do feel like it's still better than the first in the sense of like what it does for entertainment value, but um, I left the first one at least being like, there's a lot of hope in this franchise. Yes, they had some misfires, but there's a lot of hope, and this was fun. And this one, I'm just not having that same feeling. So anyway, what did you guys think of the Ninja Turtles movie? Have you checked it out yet? Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it a lot more than I did. But yeah, that's the way these movies go sometimes. So anyway, please like and subscribe and let me know what you thought of the Ninja Turtles, and I'll talk to you guys next time.